touching on the top prop bets in the NBA today. All right, guys, so I'm going to try to get this video out as fast as possible because we have a lot of great lines for NHL. I mean, this is why we have been not pressing the bankroll too much with these days in which we haven't gotten that great of lines. Is 4 days like this because we are getting some very solid lines. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. So starting off NHL wise, if we look here, Carter is favored at -140 to get the under in this game. And it's +130 to get the over across all the sports books. And we have a pretty good sample size, especially with this game being earlier on in the day. And so, like, just for comparison purposes, I always like to pull up DK Sportsbook. They have it set at -140. We can see that is a great line. And now this would be a great line that we had been getting each day if it weren't for the other ones that we have today that are really strong. So looking at it, under 3.5 shots on goal, favored at -129 and +112. I don't see the point in making this one because we are getting strong numbers across the board, but we can see DK Sportsbook has it at -140 for the under here as well. So we can see maybe with this line, there's a little bit more discrepancies across all the sports books, but still a pretty strong bet that we're getting. And guys, I will be getting into the NBA stuff, but as always, like, if we get lines that are like too good to be true, I want to start out the videos with that because I want as many people to be able to get these lines in before they change, because they most likely are going to change. So looking at this one, we got Matthew under 2.5 shots on goal. And if we look across all the sportsbook as well, -135 for the under to hit across the sportsbooks and +125 for the over there. And if we pull it up on DK Sportsbook as well, -140 for the under as well. So they are really, I would say on average, a little bit more aggressive today. Take that for what it's worth. I just like to use DK Sportsbook as a consistent example each day, just for people to be able to reference it. And now here we go. We are going to get into 2 over bets. And you guys know I typically just like the over bets a little bit more, just feel a little bit more comfortable with those. Jason Robertson over 2.5 shots on goal. Okay. -143 to get over. Okay. And then the under is set at +125. So we're getting -143. That is such a good number. And like, that's going to be true across most sports books. Okay. Some even have it a little bit higher. So just such a strong number here today. And then the last one's going to be Brent Burns over 2.5 shots on goal, -145 across the board and +135 for the over. So heavily favored to get the over here as well. And once again, let's just pull that up on DK Sportsbook for consistency purposes. Yeah, it's crazy, guys. It is crazy. So like, on paper, these are going to be the 3 strongest bets that we're getting today, all at -140 or better. So those are going to be 3 strong bets. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to mix and match those together to give ourselves the best chances to win. It's just, this is what we've been waiting for. This is why we've been managing the bankroll. I'm not telling like anyone to overextend their bankroll by any means. Okay. This is more or less, we're getting back to whatever your normal bankroll exposure would be for a day. Like, we just haven't had the strong bets this previous week that we had like really the last month. Okay. So just throwing that out there. Do not overextend your bankroll really ever. And then just real quickly, going to get into some PGA bets because those are going to lock a little bit sooner than some of the other ones. So we have seen this tournament play much more difficult than really expected. And if we pull up the weather report, sure, the conditions are pretty good today, but at the same time, the temperatures have been pretty low. So that has made the greens play a little bit more difficult. Thus, it's been a little bit more difficult to hit the green. And now we're seeing like JT under greens in regulation. We could do that. We're seeing a lot of the birdie or better ones as like ones you should be attacking. I'm probably staying away from those. Kyle Morikawa set at 12.5. Now, on average, he does average 14.05 greens in regulation, but this tournament is playing very difficult. The greens have been very difficult to hit. I could see that under hitting. Personally, I want to be using the players that have the earliest tee time, thus are going to be playing on those harder greens. So someone like Xander would probably be the way to go. Tom Kim would be another one, but we can see the edge isn't great. And actually, you can't. Let me scroll that over. The edge for these aren't that great. Okay. Like last week, 2 weeks ago, where golf was highly predictable, we were getting a ton that were like in the +1 or -1 edge, which is huge for golf. Okay. So I'm very much limiting myself to golf today. And even the ones that we were getting yesterday, like Harris English under birdie or better, which was a strong one, you know, probably my favorite one yesterday. Adam Hadwin as well was a strong one. I gave you guys that underdog bet with Cameron Young for under 4.5 birdie or better. Like, we don't have any ones that really are standout ones like that on paper or data wise. So probably just being very cautious with PGA. And now getting into the NBA side of it, guys. Now, I didn't do as much research on this as I would have wanted to, in full disclosure. Like, I want to get this video out to you guys because of those NHL props. I want as many people to be able to get in there and use those. So this is going to be a much quicker version, and it's not going to be as much of a data deep dive as, you know, kind of yesterday was. So now the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use NBA.com to look at the wide open 3-point percentage just to be able to maybe like figure out who we could be on. So we can see Buddy and Halliburton, really strong wide open 3-point percentage, 48 and 43. That is very strong. So if we look at their props, what is 23.5 out of 40 total points? That's about 58% of the points. Okay. And so I didn't look at like the money ball and stuff like that, but that's essentially like 8 3-pointers made. Is that correct? No, that's not right. Okay, here we got it. All right. So 16 for a normal 3-pointer made, 2 points for the money ball, and 3 points for the starry ball made. Okay, 6 points possible, 18 points possible, and 16 points possible. Okay, so yes, about 48% would be making about 8 of these shots for 16 possible points. And so what I did was 16 times 0.48%. So like, I would say this is probably right for Buddy. I would say Tyrese Halliburton is kind of low for his wide open 3-ball percent. Let's see who else is in this. I'm actually curious about Julius Randle specifically because his number is so low. Oh, here's a nice little thing on Yahoo Sports. Cool. So they have it broken down for their wide open 3-ball percent here in this little article. If you just literally I typed in Julius Randle wide open 3-ball percent if you guys want to research this yourself. So we can see his is not that good, about 35%. That's why his points are pretty low. See Marketing kind of low as well. The reason why I want to get to Randall is because this is such a low number. Like, that's just not that many points, you know? And I see Tyler Hero, 44. So I would say this is probably the best edge that we're getting, just given his number, 19.5. That's an extremely low number compared to everyone else here. If we pull up the 3-ball percent once again, like we can see his wide open 3-ball percent is pretty high compared to everyone else. Third highest for the day. Okay, so I don't mind Lauren Markin, and I feel like he's going to be solid as well. But I think the biggest edge that we're getting here is Tyler Hero. Now, whether you like Tyler Hero or not, that's going to be up to you guys if you want to play him or not. Obviously, I'm just trying to give you guys some data. For the dunk contest, I would say Mac is obviously going to be everyone's favorite to win. If you want to play him, you can. I'm not really touching this just because we have no idea of the human element, how they are going to judge these, right? We could have one terrible judge really destroy the scoring. You could go full, what was it, D Wade 2 years ago, where, you know, yeah, it was D Wade. I think it was 2 years ago, where he directly kind of changed the outcome of the dunk contest and was giving like weird scores. Like, that could happen today as well. Like, we don't exactly know what's going to happen there. So for the most part, I'm sticking away from this as well. Now, like I said, guys, like, I really wanted to get this video out as fast as possible so that as many people could get those NHL bets. So I didn't really want to touch on NBA too much because that is definitely just like gambling. We're taking not even educated guess. We're just kind of playing for fun there to enjoy kind of the All-Star weekend, to make it more enjoyable pretty much. Which is what I warned you guys with yesterday as well. Like, I think they went 3 for 5. Like, that's if you're doing NBA today, that's exactly what you're shooting for again as well. Like, you're just doing that for fun. Whereas NHL, a little bit of PGA, like, we are playing to be competitive, right? We're playing because those are kind of the correct moves. Obviously more so with NHL. All right, that's all I have for you guys for this video. Let's have a good slate, and as always, let's keep cashing.